Well, hey everybody, welcome to the second episode. We got that first episode out of the way for my vlog, and we're powering through to the second one. But, I've been thinking, I'm sure if I was watching, I would wonder, does mentoring and sponsoring only work with directors? Because my first episode, which featured Carrie, which I think was great, but looking forward to hearing your feedback, really was around how a director gets to the next level. So today, in just a minute, I'm actually going to talk to Sarah, and Sarah is a manager in our business and looking to get to the next level and continue to expand her career. So mentoring works at every level, from every level, really is a participative journey, and I'm looking forward to featuring all kinds of challenges. But look, if you have a challenge, how do you get mentored if you work remote? How do you make sure you ask the tough questions? How is it better to prep? How often is it better to have mentoring or anything like that? Just let us know, because we'd be happy to do an episode on the burning question in your mind. But fair warning, I may ask you to star in it with me. So if you're willing to do that, please let us know.
Hey, Sarah, it's so good to see you.
Good
Thanks
to see
for
you,
stopping
Jenna.
by.
I'm so excited. Come on, take a seat.
Yeah.
So, hey, thanks for joining me today. Then thanks, viewers, for joining Sarah and I. What I really want to talk to you about today is, first of all, and I shared with our viewers before you got in here, I've been so impressed with your customer centricity, your partner centricity, even in tough situations. I think you keep your composure, and your partners know who you are. Verizon knows who you are. But one of the key tenets is I really do want to get you to the next level in the organization. As one of my strongest managers in my organization, I want to help you build that path towards director.
Great.
So as I thought about prepping for this session, I thought, what I really want to talk to Sarah about today is how do we build her brand outside of Verizon? I can't find anybody in wireless who doesn't know who you are. That's great. I want to talk about how you build your brand in the industry.
Great.
Because that's one of the key things, right, is partners knowing who you are and coming to you, and the industry coming to you. So how do you feel about that? Do you think that's a good use of our session today?
Absolutely. And what I'm really looking to accomplish is to learn from you what you've done with your social media strategy, because I want to be viewed as an industry leader through my social media strategy as well.
I love that. So let's talk a little bit about how that starts. And some people may not know this, but I've actually worked with some folks on getting my social media profile. And one of the things is about you as a person. So when I first went out on LinkedIn and went on Twitter and other social media platforms, I was very much in the amplify stage. So I was shouting all this really cool technical geeky information, and had a couple thousand followers and people that were engaging, like-minded geeks like myself. I am a geek. And I realized it wasn't resonating, because when it came to geekdom, there's always somebody, my friend Gina Gaish, who's the head of the smb.gov site, he's always going to be more techie than me, or my friend Dustin, who actually is with the FCC, supporting their CIO, or I could go on and on. There's always somebody who's going to be more geeky than me. So people wanted to get to know my personal profile. So one of the things I think I stand for very much is diversity in the workplace. And that's part of how I started to build my platform. So are there personal things, I don't know you as well as I know everybody else, that I mentor, frankly, because you're new to it, which I think is great for our viewers to see somebody at the start. What are the personal platforms you'd be comfortable or willing to talk about?
Well, I completely agree with the diversity platform. That's definitely something I've always felt strongly about, and I've always participated in different women events and ways to grow professionally with other female leaders. Even outside of Verizon, I participated in KPMG's Executive Leadership for Women Institute, which was a great experience. So
that is great.
I absolutely agree with the diversity platform. And then really just having that, that balance to life too, because I agree, we're all people. We all have things that we do outside of work, and it's great to connect with people at that personal level. So I think the more that we understand that the people we work with, our partners, our customers, our colleagues, they're all people outside of work, and if we understand how we can connect on that level, our relationships are going to get a lot deeper and more productive at work as well. So, I'm a mom and a wife outside of work, and I have a lot of activities that I do, so I'm okay with opening up personally on social media so people understand who I am and connect with me.
That's interesting. How old are the kids?
I have 4 stepkids, 16, 14, 13, and 11, and then a 3-year-old boy.
You have your hands full, but you have a basketball team.
Yes,
Because there's 5.
absolutely.
Okay, so you do basketball. Kidding. One of the platforms that people don't talk about is, we talk about work-life balance, right? And this is part of the process. So part of the process is getting something that, for good or for bad, makes you unique. And one of the things that I think I did early on my social media platform was come clean about the challenges. which made people feel comfortable
Mm-hmm.
talking to me about anything. Right? About, hey, if I could get where I am, if you could get where you are with stepkids and a blended family, if I could get where I was as a survivor and my husband in your shoes with stepkids, right? Then they could too. And one of the things I'm super passionate about is keeping women in technology. And I think a lot of women who are balancing things have a hard time with that. So do you ever talk about the struggles of having a blended family and obviously a schedule that's not always your own?
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the great icebreakers that you can ask anyone you're meeting for the first time is, tell me what you do outside of work. How do you spend your time? Sometimes it is a family, and then that's something that we can relate to. Sometimes it's not. It might just be other interests. But that's just a great way to really connect with people. And, the more commonalities that you have, the easier it is to do business as well.
What I want to do with you over the next 30 days, and kind of we'll leave here with an action plan, is we need to build your personal persona. Sarah, somebody that you would like. Somebody you'd be willing to have a conversation with. Because people, they want to talk about technology, but they want to talk about technology with people that they trust and like and can identify with.
Exactly.
So first I want to build that personal, you've been so successful, make sure you're approachable enough as a brand. And then secondly, the second part of that is then your tech brand. So I know you've done a lot of work in the Internet of Things and a lot of work in connected devices and wireless. Is that where you're thinking that you want to build your brand, is towards that? Or is there, do you want to build your brand around partnering? Why don't you give me some thoughts about that?
Yeah, I do think that it's important to talk about the technology, but I also think it's important to leverage social media and this brand to also talk about partners and what we can do together. Really educate not only our people here at Verizon, but also our customers, the partner community. What can we do together? And I think that's a really important message that I can help facilitate. Is we're better together. There's a lot of things that we can bring to the table, and I really want to make that message clear and make sure that I'm really an advocate for our partner community.
See, better together. You just landed on exactly the first thing I was going to do. So you saved 29 days. Because I was going to say in 30 days we have to come up with your kind of statement. And I think better together, mine's been if the tech fits. Right?
Like
That's
that.
my thing. But I think better together, it lets you play on that, the work platform. Most of our portfolio is ecosystem driven. Our partners are very important to Verizon, but more importantly, it lets you extend to having a personal point of view too. Right? So you are part of an extended blended family that's better together. Or it may not always feel that way for those of you, myself included, who are parts of second marriages. Not every day feels like a rose garden. And in fact, in my family, we've memorized the lyrics to I Never Promised You a Rose Garden, which was a song apparently back in the 70s, and we sing it to each other or hum it, depending on where we are. And so, I think that gives you that platform to be able to have an opinion about natural and unnatural partnerships. So then really what happens, and this for my viewing audience, is now we have to draft a plan. Now I have a model that I use for my social media planning. I'm going to send it to you so that you can work through it. And in our next mentoring session, what I want to do is go through with you. Okay, so we'll work a little more on that brand. We'll have to look. The first thing that everybody wants to do is go to TWUBS, TWBS, I believe is how you do it, but I'll check that and we can always float it over the top. And see if the hashtag Better Together is already something that's widely used for something else. So this is kind of the helpful tip port. If it is, you typically want to pick something else because you want to get a hashtag, at least on Twitter, that's associated with your cause or what you're doing. And so if you can't get that, then we'll look for other things. Maybe it's Channel Matters, maybe it's Partner First. We can come up with a couple of things and get a hashtag that you can get to start to adopt and use so that people know.
Okay.
So that'll be part of the research, and I'll send you the documentation and you work through it. Okay,
Great.
That's the first part. So that's the easy part. The second part is, where do you think the people that you want to meet would get to know you? Where do they go online? And then I want to talk about second, where they go in live events. So do you have any idea of where they're looking online other than LinkedIn, which I think is valid, right?
Yeah, obviously LinkedIn is the platform that I'm using the most today, but I think we really need to get more channel specific, so channel partners and some of the more industry specific publications,
Okay.
Which will then translate to events, obviously. But would love to hear from you if you have some insight on the channel on where I should really spend my time and what will have the biggest impact.
So you know what would make sense and something that I think would be a good action for you would be to just go back to the last couple of channel events. So I know we did the Exchange event, we did Channel Partners, we've done Women in the Channel, we've done a whole bunch of events together, and look at the agendas and see if you can come up with some commonalities.
Okay.
What are some things that they're talking about each and every time that could start to be a platform for you? And then what I'd love to do is introduce you to, I sit on the board for the Channel Partner magazine, so I'm happy to introduce you to Art and the team there.
Great.
Love to introduce you to Bob DeMarzo at CRN. And let's see if we can't get some, they're always looking for people to do, like we're doing here today, video or even just written blogs and talk about topics. So
Great.
what I'll take a commitment to as your mentor is to get you that exposure.
Okay.
And for those of you watching, if your mentor can't help you with that, this is where we have this conversation that sometimes you need more than one mentor. Right? So if your current mentor isn't someone who has the connections that you need and you know you need to build your brand, then find the person in your company that can help you build your brand, reach out to them and get some help. Because I have to tell you, the single biggest thing about being a leader in a major company is having an internal and external brand. And so often we don't focus enough on external. I think we can get you a platform, both online but also speaking. So one of the things I'd love to explore with you is you and I doing a joint session with a couple of your partners at one of the channel events that's coming up. Would you look through the events on your agenda and tell me which one you think would make the most sense?
Absolutely.
And we'll launch your brand there.
That would be great. Thank you.
Take your time to figure out which one, and you know, for everybody listening, as I mentor people, what I want to do is find a fit, one that not only your partners will be viewing, but that you feel comfortable with. So if the first step is having that position, which I like the Better Together or Partners First, we'll come up with something. And the second is you identifying what social media properties, what magazines, what press. The third thing is, who are the influencers?
Right.
So one of the things that you can do in the next 30 days is listen. Who are the people that the top influencers, that the CEO of some of your biggest partners, the CEO of some of the biggest partners you wish you had, who are they listening to? Who do they follow? Who are they subscribing? And it's interesting on Twitter, at least. And LinkedIn, it's a little harder, takes a little more work, but you can still do it. If you double click, about 50% of the population has not locked up who they're connected with on LinkedIn. And on Twitter, you actually can click through and see who that person follows. So I would ask you to take 10 people who you think are influential.
Okay.
I think Rob Valetra at CRN is one of them that I would target. He's very influential. Kelly Henderson
Okay.
also. Who are they listening to? Who is it that you and I together have to go and with our Verizon brand, we have kind of a right to have those conversations and influence together. So we'll have the platform, we'll have where do we want to be, and then who do we need to engage in the conversation. So that's one of the keys here as you and I work on this mentoring is I truly feel your external brand, when the customers know you, everybody wants to see you. I want to expand your brand so that you're more well known in the industry.
That would be great.
Do you agree that that's
Absolutely.
a good goal for you as a leader? Okay. Kind of wrapping up with Sarah here, I'm very excited about your brand. I think you're such a credible face for yourself as well as the business. I can't wait to build it for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. So you've listened, you've learned, I hope. I'm looking forward to hearing more feedback from you on topics you want. But Sarah and I wanted to give each of you an action for how to build your brand. So here goes mine. So I would ask that you go to 10 people you think are influencers, find one of their posts on your platform of choice. It can be Twitter or LinkedIn, and comment and try to engage them in a conversation. Look, none of them may answer you, but the reality is some of them may. So go after those 10 people, engage in a conversation. Don't do it all at the same time. Try to spread it out morning to late evening so that you can find out when people are more likely to engage with you and get in the conversation and see if you can get a relationship with one of those 10 people. Sarah, how about a tip from you?
I have a tip that came from my capacity in sales. So I would say try to find somebody that you really need a connection with. It might be somebody with a company that you're trying to connect. Find out who you have in common, and that's really a helpful way. It might be 2-3 connections down the road, but oftentimes your mutual connection will help you open doors that you were never able to open before by making a call or sending an email. So social media has really helped me in the past open doors with connections I had struggled with through traditional means.